Savannah Guthrie's gaze bypassed the lens, targeting a recipient far beyond the studio. The millions watching the Today Show were merely witnesses to this private confrontation. She was speaking directly to the individual who vanished her mother 53 days ago. Within her phrasing lay a signal that federal profilers recognized as a calculated maneuver. This was no mere interview. It was a high-stakes psychological transmission. On March 25th, Guthrie ended her silence regarding her mother's disappearance. Nancy Guthrie vanished from her Catalina Foothills home on February 1st, leaving a cold trail. After 53 days of strategic quietude, the family finally weaponized the public airwaves. To understand the FBI's shifting endgame, one must look beneath this televised plea. This investigation uncovers the hidden mechanics that mainstream outlets are overlooking tonight. She spoke of unbearable agony and haunting visions of her mother's final moments. The media focused on the tears and her refusal to remain hidden. Headlines reduced the moment to grief, but the underlying intent was far more calculating. Professional insight reveals a narrative crafted under the guidance of federal behavioral analyst. Retired agent Jennifer Coffindaffer noted this appearance was an intentional piece of the investigation. Rather than a breakdown, this was a surgical strike performed on national television. The case was stalling, no suspects, no arrests, and Florida's DNA results remained silent. The search teams had withdrawn weeks ago as the trail began to evaporate. Pressure on local law enforcement and federal movements from Phoenix had failed to produce results. Public interest was waning. The cold reality of a forgotten case was setting in. Newer tragedies were beginning to push Nancy's face off the front pages. As attention fades, a kidnapper begins to believe they have committed the perfect crime. Guthrie's interview was a calculated shock to that security, designed to rattle the shadows. Authorities often utilize family members to deliver specific psychological triggers to a captor. This wasn't for daughterly closure. It was necessitated by the investigation's tactical needs. Every syllable Guthrie uttered was a breadcrumb leading toward the FBI's current theory. The mention of terror was a clinical description of the victim's experience. It signaled that authorities are fully aware of the violent nature of the abduction. The narrative shifted from a missing person to an active, brutal, ongoing crime. Labeling the situation unbearable served a dual purpose in this psychological chess match. Beyond expressing pain, the word weighs heavily on the suspect's peripheral circle. It is a siren call to those harboring secrets, designed to erode their resolve. This vocabulary is engineered to force a confidant to finally break their silence. Her vow not to hide was a clear departure from mourning. It was defiance. It was a message that the perpetrator's attempts to instill fear had failed. Standing before millions, she projected a resilience that denied the captor dominance. These verbal markers, terror, unbearable, defiance, are the hallmarks of a federal messaging campaign. Such appearances are never spontaneous. They are choreographed for maximum psychological impact. The objective of this televised gamble points toward three distinct investigative endgames. Each scenario provides a chilling window into the current state of the hunt. Scenario 1 suggests a suspect is under surveillance, but physical evidence remains insufficient. The interview aims to fracture the loyalty of associates through raw, emotional leverage. A daughter's tears on a national stage are a potent weapon against a wavering accomplice. Alternatively, the FBI may be near a forensic breakthrough and requires a distraction. Guthrie's appearance effectively resets the clock while the lab work concludes. New tips emerge, maintaining public focus while the laboratory processes the forensic evidence. Perhaps the lead has gone cold, making this broadcast a desperate final maneuver. 53 days in, the Bureau needs fresh eyes. Savannah's grief is undeniably real. The strategy is deliberate, yet the underlying sense of urgency is palpable. There is a darker theory. Investigators already have their suspect and are building an airtight prosecution. Within that framework, Savannah's interview serves as a warning. We are watching, and we will not miss. We cannot be certain of the strategy, but the timing is revealing. This broadcast coincided with three other major shifts in the investigation. Reports surfaced of local officials demanding the sheriff's resignation to ensure integrity. 141,000 views in hours. Second, blood was confirmed inside the residence. 210,000 views. This discovery shatters the previous narrative focusing on the porch. The theory of a confrontation at the doorway has been dismantled. Blood inside suggests the violence began within the home's walls. The perpetrator was already inside. The signs of struggle occurred deep within the house. The details we previously analyzed were not located at the entrance. Nancy fought a predator in her home of 35 years at 2 a.m. The trail out to the porch marks her final, conscious struggle for survival. 3. Officials voted to put the sheriff under oath. This is now a crisis of trust. The lead investigator's credibility is being questioned, just as Savannah spoke to the nation. This alignment is no accident. The FBI masters the media cycle. Stacking developments creates an inescapable pressure cooker for the person responsible. Nancy's face is everywhere tonight, haunting anyone who holds a secret. The perpetrator is likely watching. That is exactly the point. Savannah didn't seek closure. The Bureau needed the kidnapper to feel the walls closing in. One chilling detail from the broadcast remains largely overlooked. Her promised return to the show signals a calculated, long-term media siege. She is weaponizing America's largest morning platform as a tactical tool. This is not a single interview. It is the start of a new phase. Every time she speaks, 10 million more eyes turn toward the killer. The suspect's world is shrinking through a calculated pressure funnel strategy. From national reach to forensic genealogy, the net is slowly tightening. Just as the killer thinks the heat has faded, Savannah returns to the stage to remind everyone that the search continues. Someone knows the truth. Perhaps a neighbor who noticed something on January 11th? That date is now confirmed as a critical turning point for the investigation. Or perhaps someone knows who mapped the route through the Catalina Foothills. A path designed for shadows is now under intense federal scrutiny. Maybe the key witness is the person sitting beside the suspect tonight. Someone who noticed a change in early February and has stayed silent. Savannah's defiance was a direct challenge. I am not afraid, and I am not leaving. After today, keeping that secret has become a far more dangerous burden. Join Evidence HQ tomorrow for a forensic breakdown of the interior crime scene. 9 a.m. Eastern. A bounty of $1.2 million awaits anyone providing tips to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Nancy Guthrie vanished 53 days ago. Her survival is tethered to a mechanical pacemaker. Vital medication remains abandoned on her kitchen counter. Every passing hour represents a narrowing window for survival. To remain silent is to be complicit. After 53 days, Savannah Guthrie finally broke the stillness. Her message was not for the public, but for him. She is coming back. The story of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance and Savannah's televised defiance is more than a true crime headline. It is a profound testament to the unyielding power of the human spirit and the sacred bond of family. In a world that often grows cold to the suffering of others, this narrative serves as a haunting reminder. Silence is the greatest ally of injustice. When Savannah Guthrie chose to speak, she wasn't just seeking answers, she was reclaiming the light from the shadows. Her courage teaches us that, even in our most vulnerable moments of unbearable agony, we possess a voice that can rattle the foundations of secrecy. The most vital lesson here is one of vigilance and community responsibility. We are our brother's and mother's keeper. A neighbor's glance, a noticed change in a friend, or the decision to finally speak a long-held truth can be the thread that weaves a family back together. Let this be a call to action. Never let the perfect crime exist. Stay loud, stay defiant, because as long as we refuse to hide, the truth remains an unstoppable force. Justice isn't just a legal outcome. It is a moral debt we owe to one another to ensure that no one ever vanishes into the still of the night alone.